Welcome back to another North Carolina Tar Heels football recruiting podcast here on TarHeelIllustrated.com. Or if you're watching us on our rapidly growing YouTube channel that is Tar Heel Illustrated, you also might be catching this on our Facebook page, which is Tar Heel Illustrated. If you're not, go there and sign up. Or our Twitter feed, which is at Heel Illustrated. I recommend that you go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. Go to our Facebook page and like, and go to our Twitter handle and go ahead and follow us on Twitter, and go over to our website, TarHeelIllustrated.com. For just $8.33 a month, you can be a Carolina Tar Heel insider too. So much of what we do is not free content. It's premium content, much of it on our boards. This is THI publisher Andrew Jones, and joining me is our director of football recruiting, Miss Deana King. And Deana, Carolina picked up sort of a surprise commitment here this weekend, someone that just hopped on our radar like in the last 48 hours, and boom, he commits. Michael Merdinger, a two-star quarterback from Cardinal Gibbons High School in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And before you go off on the whole two-star thing, we've got a significant explanation about that, and we got a lot of information on him and why he was targeted by Chip Lindsey and the staff. Before I send it to you, Deana, very quickly, 6'2", 183 pounds. He chose the Tar Heels over current offers from Minnesota, Georgia Tech, Bowling Green, Florida Atlantic. I would have suspected that if Carolina didn't get a commitment, a lot more offers would be coming soon. So what can you tell us about Michael Merdinger?
He came up this weekend to visit. He's kind of in a unique situation. Built a relationship with Coach Chip Lindsey while Coach Lindsey was at Central Florida, mainly because Cardinal Gibbons' starting quarterback, Dylan Rizzik is committed and going to Central Florida. And Murdinger, he was a backup on this past year, still got a lot of reps. I mean, he had over 700 yards passing and with 9 touchdowns. So, kind of, I would say don't look at the star ratings because he's not had his time yet as being the number one guy in the offense and everything. But really impressed Lindsey, considering the situation at quarterback. The transfer portal was open, and no really quality quarterbacks were available, and basically was going to have to come and sit a year behind Drake May, so they didn't find a candidate for that. So the staff felt like they needed to get a 24 quarterback in the class, and deal with their options when the season's over, when the portal reopens.
So Lindsey recruited Dylan Rizzik to Central Florida. Rizzik signed last December, so he's part of the 23 class. He'll be at UCF this summer. So that opens up the job there for Murdinger. So he'll have a chance to be the number one guy all year. And Chip Lindsey had a chance to watch him throw this spring. And what's interesting is when we found out about this, we got a lot of really good, extremely well sourced information on how this process played out. So there was already familiarity with him. He already knew some things about him, and he watched him throw this spring. I think it was 10 quarterbacks he watched, and Murdinger was by far the best, most accurate. He also participated in the Elite 11 camp in Orlando, which is a big-time camp. If you don't know what Elite 11 is, look it up. And what did the staff learn about him at the Elite 11 camp, Deana?
He as you noted, he was one of the top performers, and he was one of the top passers in accuracy. And you know how accurate Drake May is. I mean, Drake May has been accurate his whole high school career and college career, and that was something that was really he got awarded for being the top guy in accuracy. And just the things that I've been researching him, he's got a great attitude, I mean, and an attitude were a lot of other. He's a team player, and seems like a guy that his teammates will want to play for. You would want to play with a guy like him. So, the staff has always said they base their recruiting on their own evaluations, which they should do. I mean, just because Rivals 24/7 or On3 or ESPN says this player is a blank star doesn't mean every school is going to offer. So with the transfer portal, and they had some bad luck with their top targets in this class going elsewhere. After the portal shut down, then they went this route. The feeling is that he's got a tremendous upside because he's from Israel, and I find that's really fascinating. A kid comes from Israel, comes to the United States when he's 8 years old, and he's starting to learn American football, and had to basically teach himself the game.
Well, you mentioned accuracy. He scored 24 out of 24 in accuracy at the Elite 11 camp, which obviously is high as it can be. And I do think that the accuracy factor and the upside are things that really, really intrigue this staff. And let me note also about the portal. We had reported multiple times that Carolina was going to have their eyes open for a quarterback in the portal, someone that might be willing to come in and serve as an apprentice under Drake for a year and then take over, perhaps even in a bowl game if Drake doesn't play in a bowl game next year, depending on what the team does. The right guy wasn't there. They weren't just going to take someone for the sake of taking somebody. That will be something that they revisit perhaps in December when the portal opens up after the season. But getting someone like Murdinger in there, even if he remains an upside, I don't want to say project, but someone who may take a couple more years, you can bring in a portal quarterback for a year and allow Connor Harrell and Tad Hudson and Michael Merdinger to continue to develop and sort of battle to see which one of them might be taking over in the 2025 season. So I think that that's what the staff is looking at. They see a trajectory with him that is very intriguing, and given what the quarterback room looks like, was certainly worth to them bringing in at this juncture.
And, a lot of people have concerns, but having Sam Howell, Drake May, and then, they have a new offensive coordinator in quarterback coaching, Chip Lindsey, and kids are, and they're just kind of wait and see. So let's see how Drake goes under Chip Lindsey and his type of offense. So I mean, there could be somebody later on, maybe you recruiting is, if you haven't learned this, recruiting is fluid. These kids, they got till December to make up their mind. There could be a coaching change. There could be anything, but they're still gonna be looking, because you can't just because you get someone or somebody goes to another place, you don't want to close that door, and anything can happen. And we've seen it the last couple of years, couple high-profile quarterbacks at North Carolina. Who knows? You just can't close the door on anything happening in college sports, and especially in recruiting, until they sign.
And you can't make a full determination about Michael Merdinger right now, because he still has the rest of the summer camps to do. And then he has a senior season next year. So I don't know when the next Rivals rankings come out, but if he played as well as he did, performed as well as he did at the Elite 11, which was about a month ago in Orlando, and has really good summer. I've seen dudes shoot way up in the summer before. I remember Jace Ruder was kind of off the radar some, and he skyrocketed in the summer. Even when he went to a Florida State camp and a Carolina camp and I remember that Rivals saw him at the Freak Show one year, and he moved up, and he's just one of many, many examples. So it'll be interesting to see where Murdinger is in November on the Rivals rankings, and who else comes in and starts talking to him. You never know. It's not just Carolina might have their eyes open for other guys, but who knows who comes in and talks to him that might intrigue him. You just never know. So it's a very fluid situation, especially with quarterbacks, because they tend to bounce around sometimes with their commitments. But certainly a kid like this, who the staff thinks he may be thought of as right here, but they view him right here. And if that's the case, others are going to start seeing that too.
Well, Rivals camps are still going on. So I would expect the next rankings will be after they completed those, because
after Memorial Day, probably, right?
Yeah, they will have a chance to see a lot of these guys in person and reevaluate them. And we, like you said, we've seen kids come from nowhere, for absolutely nowhere, and then be, make a Rivals 250.
Yeah.
I've seen that happen.
Yeah.
So trust the coaches, and they have their own evaluations. They know what they know what they're trying to accomplish. And
I think the most important thing I want to emphasize is Chip Lindsey saw 10 kids throw this spring, and Murdinger was by far the most impressive. I think that's all people need to know.
Yeah. And he's been, the quarterback room, we really, like I said earlier, they had targets, and then they looked like they might not sign anybody, and then the portal opened up and they didn't see anybody they wanted, and then they, you have to sign a quarterback in each class just to be, just for safety precautionary, because you never know. I mean, we seen it at UNC one year where they had to put what was his name, Dominique
Williams, and
as a quarterback.
Yeah. They lost their quarterbacks. They had a DB and a running back playing quarterback, and that was the worst offense in Carolina history as a result. So you got to. So I think it's going to be interesting, especially with what you do, being our director of football recruiting. And kudos to you to your full promotion into that role, by the way, here of late. And we have hired another football recruiting writer, Lee Wardlaw, who is all over stuff as well. So we're really hitting football recruiting hard. You are in much more of a dictator position over football recruiting, which is fantastic. Yes, you're a dictator.
I don't like it, that word.
I'm joking. I wanted to make a funny, because no one on this planet who knows you would ever associate dictator with you. So I was trying to make a funny. So
well, I've seen some of your comments here lately, and I know one of them was when you was on vacation. You made a statement, so and a lot of the subscribers said they wanted to hear it. So I'm going to just say it. Go on vacation, Andrew.
Hey, I went away for 4.5 days. It was 5 days, and I had one full day off. I'm as Borat would say, that's great success.
I am just so thankful that Mr. Murdinger waited till today to do it instead of yesterday. Because weddings were in the air for THI. Congratulations to Jacob Turner and his new wife, Carly. They got married. David Sis, our basketball guy's daughter, she got married out in Tennessee. Andrew was at the wedding. I had my own fundraiser.
I was at Jacob's wedding.
Yeah.
If you want to see the pictures, scroll down on our YouTube, or not YouTube, but Twitter, and you can see those pictures. And Deana, you had a function last night.
Yeah, I had
where you raised a ton of cash.
Had a fundraiser at my high school. We had a lot of.
Deana was doing selfies with her fans and signing autographs. All right, Michael Merdinger is the 13th member of North Carolina's class of 2024. He is in the books now. We're going to follow how he is graded moving forward. It's going to be an interesting process. For Deana King, this is Andrew Jones. We appreciate you stopping by.